This is the concluding part of the video that tells us, or that explains to us, why one person succeeds while the other person struggles given the same circumstances. In the last video, James had given the formula, or the much talked about formula, to John to go and study at home. So John had taken the formula and has gone home to study. He was to return back. He was to come back to James later for James to really explain the whole concept to him. While the formula represents an everyday thing, it's an everyday thing of it. It's something that contains what we do on a daily basis. But John still takes it upon himself to explain to James how he was able to use the formula to achieve his objective. He explained that while the book or the contents of the book appears to be something that was done very many years back, but if you look at what it contains, it's as good as if it was written today, and it's something we can still apply to our everyday use as it is today. He went on to tell him a story which he read from the book about a man called Marshall Fields, a businessman. His encounter with his colleagues. So the story was such that the businessmen were traders in a particular environment. So they came one morning only to discover that fire has engulfed the whole place, and the whole business place had been burnt down. So they were very bitter. They held a meeting and to discuss what next line of action they were to take. After the meeting, all the businessmen except one decided to leave that place. But that one, whose name was Marshall Fields, said that he was not going to leave that place. That instead he was going to build one of the most thriving business out of the ashes of that place that was burnt. He was very serious about it, and he began to really do it. While others have left, he began to build. Eventually, he was able to build one of the most thriving business in the whole of the United States of America as at then. What that man used to build that business was nothing other than this formula we are discussing in his own way. Because what he discovered, what John discovered, was that most of the successful businessmen of then, thrived or were able to achieve their objective by using nothing more than this formula, which he has just given to John and which is about to explain. He went on to say that, look, every human being in life, wishes to succeed in one endeavor or the other. There is no human being that doesn't have what he wants to succeed in. But how he does that, or how they do that, is another thing altogether. He said that most people wish to do something. They wish to achieve something. But wishes alone cannot make you achieve what you want to achieve. All right? Like they used to say, if wishes were horses, virtually everybody will, even beggars will ride. He said that the only thing that will get you what you want, the things that will get you what you want are not just wishes. All right? The only thing that will get you what you want is a kind of obsession. It's a kind of wanting something to the level of an obsession. Wanting something to such an extent that it becomes an obsession. It catches you. It holds you firmly. You are the thing and the thing is you. There is no way you can divorce yourself from that thing. You have to really want it. You have to, people have to know that you want it. And they have to see it in you that you really want it. That's the only way you can achieve what you want to achieve, if you are a very serious person. Every other thing is just wishes, mere wishes. So when you've had those wishes, you now back those wishes up with planning. You plan in such a way that you back those wishes up. And that plan has to be persistent. It's not plan and do and, half measures. No, it has to be persistent. Persistent to such an extent that, look, there is no going back. There is no two-way. There is no retreat. There is no surrender. It's either you get there or you give up. That's just the thing. You give up in the sense that, you know what I mean by giving up. John eventually explains the way he has used the formula to achieve his objective as follows. Number one of the formula is that you have to be specific as to what you want. What exactly do you want? You have to know it. You're not like saying, I want something, I want these things, I want various things, I want so much. You have to be very specific. Like he said, when he was about to acquire his first hotel, he was specific on what he wanted. He said he wanted an hotel. All right. He was very, very clear as to what he wants. He was not beating about the bush, telling people that he wants something or thinking that he wants something. But he was specific as to what he wanted. He wanted to acquire an hotel, and it was as specific as that. Then secondly, you have to be specific as to what you want to give in return for acquiring that particular item. For instance, again, when he wanted to acquire the hotel, he was specific as to what he wants to give in return for acquiring the hotel. He said he wants to pay money. He wanted to pay so and so amount to acquire that hotel. He was very, very specific. Everything he was doing was with specification. He was not perambulating. He was not beating about the bush. He was just clear, very clear as to what he wants. And that if you want to acquire things or if you want to achieve success, you must be clear. You must be specific as to what you want. That is a very fundamental part of this form. The third aspect is that you have to be clear and specific as to time. When exactly do you want to acquire that thing? When he was to acquire the hotel again, he said that he was very specific and clear as to when he was to acquire that hotel. Not that you acquire the hotel in 2 or 3 months' time. No, he was very clear. Time, date, everything was specific, as to when he was to acquire that hotel. So if you want to use this formula and achieve with it, one of the conditions is that you have to be clear as to time, as to when you are going to achieve that objective. Number 4 of this formula is that you have to write down a plan by which you want to acquire that, objective. You have to have a plan. In buying a hotel, what do I have to do? What are the things I have to put in place? They have to be very, very specific so that, the plan is necessary so that if there is any deviation, from the plan, you will quickly see it and correct it. If there is no plan, you may just be wandering left, right, and center, and you may deviate to a large extent and not even know that you are deviating. But once you have a plan in place, it is very easy for you to correct once there is any form of deviation. Number 5, the plan now has to be put in writing. You have to specifically write what you want to achieve. I want to buy a hotel or an hotel. I want to buy an hotel. You have to write it down. This is what I want to buy. This is what I want to, this is how I intend to buy it. This is what I have to give to buy that hotel. This is when I want it. In fact, you have to be specific in what you are doing. Write it down. Everything you want about acquisition of that hotel was written down. That was how he got his hotel easily. He planned for it and wrote it down and then followed, the plans to its logical conclusion. Eventually, he was able to acquire the hotel when he did. Then he said that he had to put what he wanted in writing. I want to buy a hotel, in written form. Everything that he's been thinking has to be put in writing. The time you want to buy it, write it down. What you want to buy, write it down. What you are going to give up, write it down. All your plans, write them down. So that from time to time you write it down in such a way that you'll be seeing them morning, afternoon, and evening. In fact, it is like I said before, it has to be you. It has to be part of you. You cannot divorce that plan from your personal self. It's something that is an obsession. You have to be obsessed. You have to be held firmly by that plan. So by the time you write it down and you are seeing it every day, post it where you can always see it. In your bedroom is there. In your sitting room is there. In your purse you have it there. In your mirror, where you want to take your bath in the morning is there. So that you put it anywhere, everywhere that you'll be seeing it. So that it becomes part of you and you part of that. At the point, you may not even need all these writings. You may just, you have them, you have internalized it. So that at the end of the day, you are just mouthing it. Eventually, you will get what you want. That is just that about the formula. It's nothing extraordinary. You can now see that it's nothing extraordinary. It's just a question. I mean, it's what people do every day. It's just that we go beyond, we go in depth to do what others do. That's just the only difference between this formula and ordinary human activities. Otherwise, it's just an ordinary human activity. It is an everyday thing. The only thing is that this one is, you need persistence here. You need commitment. You need to be committed to the whole thing before you can make the required progress. The formula was able to work for him because he was able to dream. He dreamt about it. He planned for it. He kept to his plans. He was committed. He was persistent. He didn't want to give up. Because to give up is to spoil the whole thing. So you have to dream it. You have to think it. You have to work it. You have to persist. You have to ensure that there is no retreat. There is no surrender before you can get what you want. So do you want to achieve an objective? Do you want to achieve something concrete? If you want to achieve anything concrete, you must dream it too. You must be dreaming about that thing. You must plan for it. You must desire it. You must be persistent. Persistent in the sense that there is no going back. You have to keep doing it. Let me tell you a story which James also told John. He said that there was this army general. I don't know whether I told the story before, but there was this army general who had to fight a war with another army that was much more superior to his own military. What did he do? Knowing fully well of his shortcomings, he now asked all his troops to enter into a ship, and they were conveyed to the enemy territory. The ship dropped them there. Eventually, he told his people to burn that ship. They burnt it. So while the ship was burning, the general invited his men for an address. So he addressed them and told them that, look at that, the ship with which we came here. The ship has been destroyed. So there is no going back. Nobody is going back. The thing is that we are going to either win or we finish here. So because of that, his men decided to be serious about the whole thing, and eventually they won. So if you are planning to achieve something, you must be ready to give up every other thing and face what you are planning to achieve. If you don't face it, there is no way you can win. I hope I've been able to, tell people how people achieve what they have been able to achieve. It's not an easy thing at all. But it is something that is doable. It depends on the individual. Once you are persistent, once you are serious, once you have that desire, once it becomes an obsession, you are surely going to achieve what you want to achieve. Thank you very much for listening.